Another soda, you know what I mean.
Milk, please, in the bottle, with the cap still on.
On this day in 2001, A Beautiful Mind was released. The inspiring story of mathematician John Nash and his struggle with schizophrenia, brought to life by Russell Crowe's powerful performance, captures the complexity of genius and mental illness, earning widespread acclaim and multiple Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director for Ron Howard. Do you have a favorite biopic? Let us know in the comments.
Number 10, My Left Foot.
Well, remember I told you about Peter and his gallery? Well, he's offered you an exhibition of your own.
This film is a deeply moving portrayal of Christy Brown, an Irish artist who overcame cerebral palsy to find success. However, the film omits the tragic aspects of Brown's later life, marked by neglect and abuse. After his rise to fame, Brown married Mary Carr. According to some reports, Carr subjected Brown to severe physical and emotional abuse. Friends and family members noticed his declining health, but their concerns were often dismissed.
You get more like your father every day. All hard on the outside and putty on the inside.
The neglect worsened, with Brown becoming increasingly isolated and dependent on alcohol. This dark chapter ended tragically with his premature death at 49. The movie's focus on his triumphs glosses over the heartbreak of his final years, offering an incomplete picture of his life.
Right, Christy.
Be careful.
Number 9, Finding Neverland.
Young boys should never be sent to bed. They always wake up a day older.
This charming dramedy tells the story of the creation of Peter Pan. It captures the relationship between creator J.M. Barrie and the Davies family, the inspiration for Barrie's characters. The film does have a sad ending. The boy's mother dies at a young age.
I really began to believe we'd go on like that forever.
Oh, stop it.
We don't learn, however, the boys' real ending. After their mother's death, Barrie becomes their guardian. Several of them would go on to meet dire fates. George, the eldest, was killed in World War I. Michael drowned at the age of 20. Peter struggled with the burden of his association with the fictional boy who never grew up. After his brother John died from lung disease at age 64, Peter took his own life when he was 63.
You find a glimmer of happiness in this world. There's always someone who wants to destroy it.
Number 8, A Beautiful Mind.
You see, the nightmare of schizophrenia is not knowing what's true.
This movie is the extraordinary story of John Nash, a brilliant mathematician. Despite a lifelong battle with schizophrenia, Nash's brilliance ultimately earned him a Nobel Prize. While depicting his mental illness, the film leaves out significantly darker aspects of Nash's life. His condition was far more severe and enduring than the movie shows. In reality, he suffered prolonged periods of delusion. He also had a complicated personal life, filled with estranged relationships.
At least it's our relationship warrant long-term commitment. I need some kind of proof, some kind of verifiable empirical data.
He had a son out of wedlock whom he abandoned, and he has another son who also suffers from schizophrenia. 14 years after the film's release, Nash and his wife Alicia were tragically killed in a fatal car crash on their way home from an awards ceremony.
I'm very happy that he got his recognition as one of the greatest mathematicians of our time.
Number 7, The Blind Side.
Well, the former NFL player immortalized in the feel-good Oscar-winning film The Blind Side is now alleging that a key part of his life story was a lie, all of it.
One of the most egregiously whitewashed biopics out there is 2009's The Blind Side. The heartwarming family film shows Michael Oher's rise from poverty to NFL stardom, thanks to the support of the Tuohy family. Since its release, Oher has criticized the film for its inaccuracies and oversimplifications. The movie downplays his own determination and gifts, instead showing him as a passive and shy young man in need of a savior. Oher also felt like the film grossly exaggerated the Tuohy's role in his life. The film's version of reality strained his real-life relationships. In 2023, Oher sued the Tuohys, demanding that they end their exploitative conservatorship over him. After 20 years, he wants to own his own likeness and determine his own fate.
But yesterday, he filed a 14-page petition in a Tennessee court alleging the Tuohy family never adopted him.
Number 6, The Theory of Everything.
The result is gradual muscle decay, wasting away.
Stephen Hawking spent decades in the zeitgeist as the smartest man on Earth. The Theory of Everything was the award-winning film depicting both his scientific achievements and his relationship with his first wife, Jane. However, the film glosses over some of the darker truths about Hawking's life.
If you don't get up and play a game with me, I won't come back here again.
His illness took a horrible emotional toll on his family. As his health deteriorated, so too did his marriage. Hawking's relationship with his nurse, Elaine Mason, would later bloom into a romance, but reports surfaced of alleged abuse and neglect casting a pall over Hawking's last years. Friends and caregivers reported seeing unexplained injuries on the scientist. Despite multiple investigations, Hawking denied the allegations, and no formal charges were ever filed.
I did my best.
Number 5. Remember the Titans.
I don't care if you like each other or not, but you will respect each other.
This 2000 hit is arguably one of the best sports movies ever made. It stars Denzel Washington as Coach Herman Boone, a tough but fair hero who unites his team and his town during the integration of T.C. Williams High School. The truth, though, isn't so rosy. The team's winning season didn't magically make racial tensions disappear overnight. Worse, critics claim that Boone's coaching methods were much harsher and more brutal than the movie let on.
Because I can guarantee you there isn't a bum on the street that looks as raggedy and ridiculous as what I'm looking at right now.
Students, colleagues, and parents have accused Boone of excessive cruelty. By 1979, students and assistant coaches were complaining to the school administrators about Boone's physical and verbal abuse. He was summarily fired and never coached again.
So you blaming me for what happened last night?
No, I am talking about setting a good example for our boys and for the community.
Number 4. Schindler's List.
It's Hebrew from the Talmud. It says, whoever saves one life saves the world entire.
Steven Spielberg's Holocaust drama Schindler's List cleaned up at the Oscars, and it's easy to understand why. Oscar Schindler risked his life to save over 1,000 Jews during the Holocaust. He's presented as a man with obvious faults but deep convictions. In truth, that wasn't always so.
Or you could leave and return to your families as men instead of murderers.
Before his transformation, Schindler was an eager war profiteer and a member of the Nazi Party. His personal life was also troubled, marked by infidelity and heavy drinking. He spent his whole fortune to save those he could. After the war, Schindler's life deteriorated. He went bankrupt and had to survive on financial support from the Jewish survivors he once saved. He died destitute in 1974 and was buried in Israel.
I don't understand. You want these people? These people. My people. I want my people. Who are you, Moses?
Number 3. The Aviator.
I could do that.
Do what?
Buy it.
You want to buy the airline?
For crying out loud, Jack. We don't want a bunch of damn pencil pushers getting in the way of us making our plane, do we?
The Howard Hughes we saw in Martin Scorsese's The Aviator was fascinating. A brilliant eccentric, this version of Hughes was a visionary plane designer and filmmaker. While true, Scorsese left out the worst parts of Hughes' eccentricities. As Hughes aged, his mental health deteriorated significantly. He developed a severe case of obsessive-compulsive disorder, and a litany of phobias hindered his daily functioning.
And listen, we need to take another look at the wheel. Jesus, the damn wheel? Yeah. It just doesn't feel right.
He became a recluse, living in near total isolation in a darkened hotel room. His personal hygiene suffered and his physical health declined. He suffered daily from chronic pain, and Hughes eventually died alone in 1976. In life, Hughes was as much a cautionary tale about untreated mental illness as he was an iconic celebrity.
How nice of you to dress for me. Can I come in?
Number 2. Unbroken.
Louis, a moment of pain is worth a lifetime of glory.
The craziest thing about 2014's Unbroken is that it took Hollywood so long to make a movie about Louis Zamperini. A former Olympic athlete, Zamperini endured incredible suffering in a Japanese POW camp during World War II. His story truly is inspiring, though it didn't end after he went free.
Oh, God, look at you.
Upon his return home, Zamperini struggled with severe post-traumatic stress disorder. He suffered intense bouts of anger, depression, and horrific nightmares. He also treated his condition with alcohol. Though the film touches on faith as the cornerstone of his redemption, the extent of his internal fight after the war is all but glossed over.
You can do this, Lou. Just gotta believe you can.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Kundun. Before the Chinese invasion and annexation, Tibet was rife with torture and slavery.
Thus, by the virtue that has collected through all that I have done, may the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away.
12 Years a Slave. Solomon Northup's daughter didn't even recognize him when he returned home.
I apologize for my appearance, but I've had a difficult time.
The Sound of Music. The Von Trapp house became the summer home of Heinrich Himmler.
Hello, here I am. I'm from the convent. I'm the new governess, Captain.
And I'm the old butler, Fräulein.
Oh.
American Sniper. Chris Kyle was a bloodthirsty killer, and much of his story is uncorroborated.
Oh, that's not me, no.
What's not you?
I was just protecting my guys. They were trying to kill our soldiers, and I'm willing to meet my creator and answer for every shot that I took.
The King's Speech. Edward was a Nazi sympathizer sent to the Bahamas so he couldn't make a deal with Hitler.
If there is any man in the world
so lacking in moral feeling as Hitler, that the world may be hurled for a second time into the abyss of destructive war.
Number 1. Aaron Brockovich.
By the way, we had that water brought in special for you folks. Came from a well in Hinckley.
The Pacific Gas and Electric Company contaminated the water of Hinckley, California for years. Aaron Brockovich tells the story of the lawsuit against them from the perspective of the hardscrabble paralegal who was the tip of the spear. But victory in the suit didn't solve Hinckley's problems.
We have this reunion of the same issue going on.
30 years later.
Despite the settlement, many residents continue to suffer from health issues related to the contamination, and the long-term environmental damage remains unresolved. The cleanup efforts were criticized as inadequate, and some residents have struggled to obtain necessary medical care. The town's economic and social fabric collapsed thanks to the contamination, and now it's slowly disappearing.
Erin caught up with Roberta Walker on the spot where her neighborhood once was. Now, it's just barren landscape.
Which inaccurate biopic infuriated you the most? Let us know in the comments below.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Check out these other clips from Watch Mojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.